Hello everyone, in this video we're going to learn about deployment types in Azure AI Foundry. If your applications call models hosted in AI Foundry, you're probably worried about where your prompts are processed and how many calls you can make and how predictable the performance will be. Now when it comes to where your prompts are processed and the processing workload, we have many options on Azure. The goal of this video is make those options a little bit simple for you. I'm in Azure AI Foundry portal, as you can see, and if I go into deploy models and if I scroll down, I want to deploy GPT-5 mini, for example. I'm going to confirm it. Now in this section you can pick the deployment name. We have the deployment type as well, and these options, they can be a little confusing when you get started. We have global standard, data zone standard, but we have many options here. And not only these, now if I go into their documentation, they have even more, around 9 options available when you try to deploy a model. Now this can be a little confusing, and that's what I'm going to address in this video. Now before diving into those deployment options, what I want to cover is regions, geographies, and data zones. Now if you worked with Azure, you know there are Azure regions, right? Now I'm going to go into Azure Data Center Visualization. You may have seen this one. I'm going to deselect everything here. So we have this empty globe. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable the regions. Now if I go into the Australia region, we have Australia East, Australia Central, Australia Southeast. If I enable geographies, as you can see, even though we have many regions, we have one geography. So now you understand the idea of geography. It kind of represents multiple Azure regions. What Microsoft did is that, like 2 years ago, they have announced this concept of data zones. In addition to regions and geographies, now we have the idea of data zones. They're basically here for compliance reasons. Now currently we have 2 data zones. We have one for United States and one for European Union. Even though you have many regions, you don't have to worry about where exactly your database is going to be processed. For example, if they had a data zone for Australia, you don't have to worry about in which region the data will be processed. You just call your model, Azure will route your traffic to an available region. It will be within that compliance boundary. So that's the key idea of data zones, right? Now we have regions, geographies, and a new concept called data zones. Now, with that in mind, let me go into the Azure portal again. You have the global standard option. And what this means is that you don't care about where your data will be processed. You just want the best throughput, the lowest cost, and this is where you should get started. We have the global option, the global standard option, right? And we have data zone standard. Now what this will do is, now if I pick this one, if I scroll down, now as you can see here, your deployment in East US will process data within the US data zone, because the AI resources used in this deployment is located in East US. Your data zone standard deployment will process data within US data zone. Since my AI Foundry resource, when I created this AI Foundry resource, I picked East US region. Now it's within that US data zone. You can guarantee your customers, your organization, that your data will be within that US data zone. If I deployed my AI Foundry resource in, let's say, somewhere in Europe, it'll be within that compliance boundary. So that's what this means, the data zone standard. Now let's see what other options that we have. We have the global provision throughput. Now if I go into the documentation, since it's data zone, they allow you to use Microsoft global infrastructure of Azure to dynamically route traffic to the data center within the Microsoft specified data zone, right? With the best availability for each request. So it's within that data zone that I talked to you about. And now since it's a provisioned one, right? It's a reserved model. You buy this capacity from them, and it's reserved for you. So you can get a predictable throughput, right? So that's the key idea behind this provision throughput, right? Now, if I go into the other options that are available, now we have covered the global standard, data zone standard. When I pick the regional option, it'll just process the data within your region only. So that's the key idea behind it. Now, if you look at this diagram, as you can see, we have 2 dimensions here. We have the data processing location. You can go for regional ones, or you can go for the less restrictive data zone option, or you can go for global ones, right? You can start with global options. You can play with it And then you can, when you go into the production deployments, you can maybe go into more restrictive options. And then when it comes to the usage of your data, right? If you have a lot of data to be processed, if you want predictable throughput, you can go for provision. If you have batch data, let's say you want to process a lot of large documents, at night or something like that, you can go for Azure Data Zone Batch or Global Batch option, right? Now, this is a diagram that they have in the documentation, as you can see, right? We have on the left the global deployments. This end we have regional deployments. As you can see with this arrow, right, when you go from global to regional, right, it's increasingly more restrictive data processing boundaries, right? You can pinpoint exactly where your data will be processed. But if you go into global deployment options, it's increasing the wide access to models. We have like all the models in Azure AI Foundry available in global option. Like we have access to many models. It has increased throughput as well, because they'll just route your traffic to anywhere on Azure, and it has lower price as well. So those are the things that you have to consider when deploying your next production AI model. So this is what I wanted to cover in this video. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below. And also, if you have learned something new today, you can subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you with another video like this soon. And thanks for watching.